Dell Technology earnings. Gosh, Dell is one of the few companies that spans all the way from endpoints with PCs and PC services to infrastructure, data center infrastructure as a service, and everything in between. Daniel, is infrastructure back? You know PCs had to be good, but is infrastructure back?
Well, infrastructure was up, and after several sort of flat or slight pullback quarters, the company did see material 5% overall growth in its ISG business. Quick rundown, 12% overall growth on almost $25 billion in revenues. Solid growth for infrastructure. Client was up substantially in the 20s. VMware, another 9%, but that won't really be a thing much longer for Dell. So that was this quarter. Their operating income, clearly the company is just absolutely running the show well. Up 96% this quarter. Means that, getting the supply lines right, getting the operations, the delivery right. And, that 5% growth in ISG, Pat, to me, is more of an indication that we are returning to some level of normalcy. Throughout the pandemic, the investment in the stay-at-home plays, the cloud, SaaS, PCs, all strong. Infrastructure lagged. Infrastructure was we're not going to be investing in our co-locations and our on-prem data centers. We'll move things to the cloud. That'll be our short-term workaround. Long-term, though, people are going back to the office. Long-term, we need to get to the edge. We need to get to the core applications on-prem. We still have 75% of workloads on-prem. That's a lot of servers, a lot of storage, a lot of networking, and that's a lot of Dell EMC products. And so seeing that growth was encouraging, Pat. Across the board, just real quickly touching on it from a PC side, Pat, this is interesting, but the consumer business was ripping. Bookings were up 58%. XPS shot up into the 20s%, which is high for the high end because that's a top end product. But how about this one, Pat? Something with the GPU shortage. Alienware, 76% growth year over year. I'm thinking people wanted gaming PCs, and they're hard to come by right now. Consumer across the board was up, by the way. You saw yesterday, HP, 70-something% growth in consumer, whereas commercial's only in the teens. So consumers are buying a lot of PCs. On the infrastructure side, almost $8 billion, 5% growth. The server business was up 9%, which was one of the stronger parts of the business. But overall, this is just an indicator of what things to come. Cisco showed growth last, week ago or two ago. It was like 7%. I now anticipate, based on this and Cisco's results, we're going to see maybe some growth from HPE. Small, but I would expect maybe single-digit growth coming in there, and that'll be, I think, next week. And so, overall, Pat, solid quarter from Dell, continuing hitting all the high notes, big top-end revenue. But, I think people are going to want to see even more. I think ISG even more. And then, of course, Project Apex. They're not going to be reporting numbers anytime soon, but they're going to want to start to see some material growth in those subscription numbers.
Dell stock is up 100% in the last year. Actually, more than that technically. And I still think they're undervalued. When you look at what they're able to generate with cash, when you look at their what will be a new debt rating for them, an investment grade debt, which takes the risk off. When you look at their ability to profitably gain share, look at the profit of other people in their sectors and what they're spinning off, and look at the margins. And in more cases than not, Dell is pumping out more impressive either op inc or gross margins. Dell doesn't get into businesses that aren't good, right? They don't play the leverage game, right? And therefore, you won't see them driving a lot of low-end consumer PC business or low-end storage. They're just not going to play there. So I think what investors are going to have to look at in the future is kind of look at their growing long-term TAM post VMware spin, their ability to gain share profitably and how much cash that generates, the ability for them to leverage their P&L to grow that revenue, and how much investment that actually takes, and then kind of map that into their cash flow and what they're able to hang out there. And I think this company has ways to run, but we'll see. I'm an industry analyst, not a financial analyst, but I am bullish on the company.